We got a couple of new cards revealed for Silver Dust Blaze, as well as some major news for Vanguard Zero, as we have a lot to talk about for the international side of Vanguard Zero, as well as the Japan side of Vanguard Zero. So, let's talk about that! Stand up! Vanguard! Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and starting today I will also announce and talk about the latest news, card reveals and event information for Vanguard Zero. So you have one easy place on YouTube to find all your news concerning the physical card game as well as the mobile game. So whatever information you're looking for, you can find it in the Cardfight updates. But with that said, we got a lot of information to talk about. Not so much in the physical card game, as we only got 2 new cards revealed to us and some information for the Majesty Lord Blaster special set. But most of the information and the new news will be about Vanguard Zero, as today we've got a ton of new information revealed to us, not only for the international side, but also what's gonna happen in Japan, which is basically a glimpse in the future, as there are a couple of months ahead of us. So with that said, let's jump right into the card reveals as well as the new information. And we're gonna start off with the new cards revealed to us for Silver Dust Blaze. And the big one here is everybody's favorite Link Joker waifu, that is Lady Fencer of the Matter Transmission. And this card is a homage to her original counterpart because her skill is Auto Record Circle. When it attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Messiah in its card name, and this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of the battle. And at the end of the battle, lock this unit. So basically, this in a Messiah deck is a 15k attacker that locks itself. Just like the Grade 4. This is insanely strong because this will facilitate your multi-attacking that will not cost you any resource, as the Grade 4 is just to cost itself to lock itself, and this just locks itself by nature of the effect. And both of them can generate power. The Grade 4 gives another unit 10k power, so you can give the Lady Fencer another 10k, so she becomes a 25k, and the Grade 4 itself is already a 30k beater, so that will hit like a truck, and then Lady Fencer also will hit like a truck. But what's interesting about this is that now we can do this on a more consistent basis because we have more cards that can lock themselves. And interesting enough, Lady Fencer with the 5k power, if we use her with an 8k booster, makes some really good magic numbers. And because she locks herself for free, this can also activate Cauldron Wing for some extra countercharging if you happen to need some more resources. So this makes some good application for more consistency multi-attacking, because with the new Messiah VR, you can then unlock them again, gives them even more power, and then they can swing again if you want to do so, and generate more power and potentially more locking if you have other cards that interact with this. So yeah, Lady Fencer of the Matter Transmission probably will be a staple in the new Messiah deck. And because she's a triple R, I think a lot of people are very excited by that fact, because that means she has a borderless SP. But Lady Fencer of the Matter Transmission wasn't the only card that we got revealed today, as we also got a new Kagero Grade 2, which is Torrid Cannon Dragon. And this is basically the Kagero version of Catapult Turtle. I hope that Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Konami isn't suing Vanguard after this one. But its ability basically makes another card in Kagero obsolete, because its skills act on Vanguard Record Circle once per turn, cost Counterblast 1, and put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck. Choose one of your opponent's Grade 2 or less rear guards, retire it, and if your hand has 4 or less cards, draw a card. So this card is basically a complete upgrade of Dragonic Burnout, and we're talking about the V version here, as it has the same cost. It has a similar condition about that you need to put the card to the bottom deck, only that is a Grade 2 or higher, so it's even more restrictive. And Burnout is a rearguard skill. This is a Vanguard Rearguard Circle skill, but also on top of that, Torrid Cannon Dragon can potentially draw you a card. And what's interesting enough about these new Kagero cards is that a lot of these cards work with the 4 or less cards in hand, and that is basically a telling sign to the skill that we had with Dragonic Overlord The End. And that probably can tell us something about the cross, as when this set was revealed, they hinted about that the cross maybe had something like a skill that taps into the power of all the other original Dragonic Overlord cards. So We have to wait and see what that means, but it could potentially mean that it can copy other Dragon Overlord skills, and probably the End is the strongest among all of them, so having more support cards for the End or for that skill condition will probably make the Cross even better than the End ever was. But we have to wait to see how this works, and until we get the official VR reveal of the Cross. But Torrid Cannon Dragon on itself is actually already a pretty solid card. Can be used in aggressive counterplay, it can be just a good control option, or even some recursion if you want to put some good cards, normal units, back to your deck, the grade 1, the grade 2, as this can also interact with the Dragonic Blade Master engine, because you need the grade 2 and the grade 1 in your deck, so this is another way to cycle them back into the deck. So yeah, I think it's a solid double R, which is also pretty nice for Kagero. And the final piece of news that we got for the physical card game is the release date of Majesty Lord Blaster Special Set, as it's gonna be released on October the 2nd. But not only that, they finally confirmed that we in the international side will have the exact same treatment. We can get the exact same special set as Japan got. So we get the sleeves, we get the double-sided marker, we get the exclusive high premium deck box, and all that goodness with the SVR in the set, with all the VR's treatments. So basically what Japan got, we are also going to get, which is actually pretty nice, because usually with these special sets we tend to get a Walmart version of it, a budget version of the original what Japan got. So it's finally nice to see that we get the exact same treatment. So if you were excited for Majesty Lord Blaster and you wanted to get some premium product, then Bushiroad got you covered on October the 2nd. Now, with the physical card game news out of the way, let's jump into Vanguard Zero. And Vanguard Zero, for the international side, we've got some exciting news, as starting from June 1st, we're going to enter a new season of Vanguard. And with a new season of Vanguard, that means a new set. And Bushiroad already confirmed that on June 1st, 2020, we are going to get Set 4, which introduces Shadow Paladin. But not only that, we get support for the Q4 clans, which introduces Majesty Lord Blaster, Dragonic Overlord The End, Scarlet Witch Coco, and Beast Deity Azure Dragon. So if you're playing any of those clans, or you're excited to finally get Shadow Paladin in Cardfight Vanguard Zero for the international side, then wait no longer, because next Monday those cards will be available. But not only that, with the introduction of new Set 4, we're going to get a new pull-up raid banner that will be called Fighters Gacha Pickup Awakening of the Twin Blades. And this pickup banner will basically contain a increased pickup rate for all these new cards. So for the Shadow Paladin card, as well as the new boss unit for the Q4 clan. So if you have some gems and packs laying around, then save them up for next Monday once the new set drops, as well as this new banner, which includes all these new cards and an increased pull rate. But Monday doesn't only introduces the new set for Set 4 and the new pickup banner, it also is a start of a new ranked season. And this season is gonna be a very exciting one, because we're going to get the Explode Ultimate Machine season, and this will be featured with Perfect Riser as the ranked season award. And not only that, we're gonna get some nice sleeves with Perfect Riser as well as Reindeer on the sleeve artwork. So if you were excited to play Nova Grappler in a new Perfect Riser build, but you were unlucky getting those Perfect Risers out of the gacha, don't worry, play some ranked season in the next coming 2 weeks, and you're going to be able to get some free copies of the alternate art of Perfect Riser, which actually looks pretty damn slick in my opinion. Now, from the international side, we dive into the new exciting reveals that we got on the Japanese side, because not only are we going to get a new set on June 1st, so does Japan. And Bushiroad finally revealed what the next set, Set 7, is gonna be for Cardfight Vanguard Zero. And Cardfight Vanguard Zero in Set 7 is gonna finally introduce Aqua Force to the game. But not only that, that set will also contain support for Angel Feather with Metatron, the new Ultimate Great Dayusha for Dimension Police, a increase in the new cross rides for Bermuda Triangle with Coral as well as Pacifica, and we've got Polaris for Great Nature. So if you play Aqua Force, Angel Feathers, Dimension Police, Bermuda Triangle, or Great Nature, then Set 7 is gonna be your thing once it drops in the Japanese side, or in a couple of months when we're going to get in the international side of Cardfight Vanguard Zero. And not only did Bushiroad announce this new set for Japan, they also introduces a couple of skill reveals and card reveals, so we have an idea what the new clans and new cards are going to do. And we got a couple of Aqua Force cards, Bermuda Triangle cards, and some 4th Dimension Police. So let's go them quick one by one to get an idea what these new cards for the clan are going to do once they drop June 1st in Japan. And the first card that we have is this grade 2 for Aqua Force that is Marine General of the Restless Tide Algos. And this grade 2 has 2 abilities. Its first skill is Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if it's the 4th battle of the turn or more, draw a card. So it's a potentially free plus, which is really nice for a high tempo aggressive playstyle that is Aqua Force. But it also has a second ability, which is Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if it's the 4th battle of that turn or more, counter +1 to get power +5k until the end of that battle. So basically this could be a 14k attacker, and if boosted with a 7k can potentially be a 21k or maybe a 22k attacker that once it hits draws you a card. And it's nice that it gets such a power increase once you go in the 4th battle, because the 4th battle is probably the second attack that hits into the Vanguard, as your first and second probably go into the rearguard, and then your 3rd will go face, and then your 4th go face. So if he doesn't get a defensive, you can hit him and get a free plus out of it. So it's a nice aggressive tool here. Then the second grade 2 that they got revealed was Storm Rider Basil, and this 8th grade 2 has the following skill. Rearguard Circle, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it's the 1st battle of that turn, it gets power +3k until the end of the battle. At the end of that battle, this unit exchanges the position with your rearguard in the same column. And its second skill is Rearguard Circle once per turn, counter +1 to have this unit attack ignoring intercept until the end of that turn. So this could basically be your first attack that's an 11k that ignores interceptors, which is pretty nice against most 11k bases or 10k bases. It's only a little bit weaker against the cross rides, but as soon as it's an early aggressive turn, probably your opponent hasn't had the time to go into a cross ride. So this can hit on its own for the 1st battle, and then the 2nd and 3rd battle can go into the rearguard circles, and then your 4th battle can potentially be Algos to get the potential plus out of nowhere, which is some nice interaction. And the final card they revealed was the new boss unit for Aqua Force that is Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, which has the following skills. Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this is the 4th battle or more, this unit gets power +5k, and the following skill. When the battle that this unit attacked ends, draw 1 and retire one of your opponent's rearguards. And it has the following skill. Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets power +3k until the end of the battle. So this card can basically hit always, even against a higher base increase, because it's a 14k attacker, so cross rides isn't enough to stop this. But if you are at 4 damage or with limit break, then this thing hits for 19k without a boost, which is pretty good. And then also every time it attacked, you get to draw 1 and retire one of your opponent's rearguards. And with the both interceptors gone, you can then destroy their back rows. This is actually pretty good, because this is in some regard a stronger Ember Dragon skill, because it doesn't cost you counterblast, but at the same time you draw a card, so you get hand advantage while doing so. And with the other potential multi-attacking of Aqua Force, could be really annoying for your opponent to deal with. And Maelstrom could basically be the nail in the coffin, as this is a directing upgrade for the original counterpart that has an unhit, non-hit ability. This is much better. Then on the Bermuda side, we've got some Coral cards that were revealed, as we got this brand new starter that's Angelic Star Coral, which has the skill Vanguard Circle. When a fresh Star Coral rides this unit, look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck and add a Aurora Star Coral or Shiny Star Coral to your hand. If you didn't add, call this card. And it has the skill Vanguard Circle. When a unit other than Fresh Star Coral rides this unit, call this card. So basically, if you do not ride the grade 1, you can call this unit. If you do ride the grade 1, you can check the top 7 to search for the grade 3 or the grade 2. But if you do not get any of those cards, you can then call the grade 0 to the field, meaning you always get advantage no matter what the situation. And this is really nice. And I also believe they confirmed that all the other ride chains lie in the same vein as this skill. So like Vortimer, that we still need to get in the international side, will get a buff, so their skill works similar to this skill. So all those other ride chains suddenly becomes better. I Not sure if this will count towards something like the Galahad Tsukuyomi Raijin, as those work a little bit differently than these one. So probably only Vortimer and the other Raijins in this particular vein. But it's a really nice upgrade, as it gives you a good advantage in whatever situation you might find yourself in. Then for the grade 1 Coral, we got Fresh Star Coral, which has the skills Vanguard Circle. If an Angelic Star Coral is in your soul, this unit gets power plus 1k, so it's an 8k attacker. And Vanguard Circle, when a unit other than Shiny Star Coral writes this unit, look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck and write a Shiny Star Coral. So if you write them wrong grade 2, you can check the top 7 to write the correct grade 2. It basically helps you with the consistency of getting the correct grade 2 if you need that for the Coral grade 3. But I'm not really that fond of the skill because it removes another grade 2 from your deck, which are essential defensive options. And with how we're going to see with the other grade 3s, your main right target might not be the grade 3, but the cross-right version of Coral. And then the reason to have the grade 2 in your soul basically becomes redundant. So I'm not sure if I'm all too for this type of skill, but it can at least give you some consistency in specific situations. Then for the grade 2, we've got Shiny Star Coral, which has the skill Vanguard Circle. If Fresh Star Coral is in your soul, this unit gets power plus 1k, so it's a 10k attacker. And Vanguard Circle skill, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may return one of your front row rearguards to your hand. If Fresh Star Coral is in your soul, you may return one of your back row rearguards to your hand. So if it hits the Vanguard, you return one front row unit. But I'm not too sure if they also mean that if you have it in the soul to grade 1, does it mean you bounce a front row and a back row, or you can then choose a back row? I think they mean that you bounce back a front row and a back row, because it doesn't state that it overrides the original skill. It just adds on top of it. So that could actually be really solid, that you can bounce 2 units back. Then for the grade 3 Coral, we have Aurora Star Coral, which has the skills Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of the battle. And Vanguard Circle skill, once per turn, countable as 1 to soul charge 1 and return one of your rearguards to your hand. So this can activate all those bounce effects on a more consistent basis, which is really nice. And it has the skill Vanguard Circle. If Shiny Star Coral's in your soul, this unit gets power plus 1k. So it's an 11k base on a right chain. It can become a 16k attacker with Limit Break 4. And you can activate those bounce effects on demand, which is actually pretty solid. And for double R is a pretty good budget alternative. However, this isn't where the Coral engine stops, because they also got the new cross-right version, which is a triple R Coral that is Shangri-La Star Coral. And her skill is Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4, once per turn, counter plus 1 to get power plus 3k until the end of turn. Then return one of your rearguards to your hand and put a Coral from your hand into the soul. If you put, draw 2 cards. So not only does this bounce something back, it also gives power, so this becomes a 14k beater, but you can turn 1 card in your hand into 2 cards. So you can put the grade 3 Coral into your soul, as grade 3s in your hand doesn't really do anything, to potentially draw into your grade 2s and into your PGs, which is really good advantage. But not only that, it has the cross-right skill with Aurora Star Coral. And cross-right basically means it gets an additional plus 2k power continuously during your opponent's turn as well. And because you can put the grade 3 Coral with her first skill into the soul, you can actually write this Coral as your first grade 3 and then put the other Coral into the soul and immediately sit on a 13k base. But because you get the power plus 3k, it becomes a 16k attacker, which is at the same level as the other Coral, but you now get more card advantage and you don't randomly soul charge, which might not be all that ideal, as when you sit on this Coral, the only card that you want in the soul is the grade 3 Coral, and that's about it. So this looks to be a very solid engine and can be very deadly if you combine it with some good bounce effects, as you can utilize those effects on a very consistent basis. Then the final Bermuda Triangle card that was revealed was Eternal Idol Pacifica, which has the skill Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4, when it attacks a Vanguard, count plus 2 and return up to 2 of your rearguards to your hand and call a card from your deck. So this is some extra multi-attacking, which is a lot cheaper than the original Pacifica and can be done on a more consistent basis, and it filters your deck while you're doing so, which is actually pretty nice, as you can call grade 3s to the field to attack and then bounce them back and then call grade 2 from deck, so you have some defensive options during your opponent's turn. But it also has the cross-ride with the original top out of Pacifica, which makes her a 13k base, which is pretty nice, but definitely a lot weaker than the Coral ride change that we just discussed, as it has a lot more consistency to it and a lot more power potential than the Pacifica engine that we had, because the Pacifica engine is basically only grade 3 And that's it. Then the final cards that we got revealed for Vanguard Zero were the new Dimensional Police cards, as we've got a brand new starter, which is Dimensional Robo Goyusha. And Goyusha has the Forerunner skill, so right on top of it and call it, but it also has the Rearguard Circle skill. If your Vanguard is a grade 2 or greater Dimensional Robo, put 4 of your Dimensional Robo Rearguards into the soul to write a Dayusha from your deck and draw 2 cards. So this is now a little bit changed, because I believe the original one could just write into any Super Dimensional Robo grade 3. Now you need to write specifically a Dayusha card, which is either the normal Dayusha or the brand new Ultimate Grade Dayusha that will come in this set. And that is basically the ideal target to go for anyway, so that doesn't really matter here. But the interesting part here is to draw 2 cards. And I've seen people speculate that this is a gigantic buff to the cards. However, I beg to differ here, because the thing here is that Vanguard Zero doesn't plus from drive checking, meaning if you did this in the original game, you get a twin drive of the Vanguard, meaning that's 2 extra cards you're going to get in your hand. You're not getting those cards in your hand in Zero, so the draw 2 on this card effect was basically mandatory to make this card playable, because if you did not get that draw 2, you basically -4 for just a superior ride. And the superior riding in Zero is nowhere near as advantageous as in the physical card game. So that's why they needed to add the draw 2 on this card. But the difference here is, however, is now you get the same card advantage as the original physical Dayusha in the OG era. But in this case, you get the cards during your turn. So you can still call them to the main phase. In the OG physical version, you get them during the battle phase in the drive checking, so it's basically reactive. So now you are proactive and you can call those units to flood the board and be very proactive during your turn instead of being reactive like the original counterpart. So that's an interesting take on this card. Might or might not make it better than the original version, but it's a thing to look into when using this card and using this new engine for Dimensional Robos. But with the new Dimensional Robo engine, we also need a new grade 3, which is Ultimate Dimensional Robo Grade Dayusha. And its new skill is Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4. When attacking the Vanguard, if your soul has 2 or more Dimensional Robos, for the battle, this unit gets power plus 2k and critical plus 1. And it has to cross-ride with Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha. So if you have the original grade 3 in the soul, it's a 30k beater, but with the extra skill, you then becomes a 15k attacker with double crit, which is somewhat more consistent and easily to do than Perfect Riser. Only the issue here is that you need to have 4 damage, so that's the main caveat here. However, with all the superior ride and all the other things, Dimensional Robo can probably do enough damage to basically seal the deal here. But this isn't the only reveal that we got, or the change, because the original Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha got a buff because they decided to add 1 more skill to the card. As the new skill for Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha is from hand, discard this card, randomly add to your hand 1 Dimensional Robo Dibattless, Dimensional Robo Didragon, Dimensional Robo Dilander, or Dimensional Robo Mariner to your hand. So you can discard the Dayusha grade 3 and can randomly get 1 of 4 cards. And those 4 cards are these cards. And the interesting thing here is that Dibattless was originally a critical trigger, so grade 0, but those don't exist in 0, so they turned it to a grade 1 with a 7k body, which is interesting. But the skills are pretty simple. The grade 2 Didragon has the skill Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if your Vanguard is a Dimensional Robo, this unit gets power plus 3k, so it's a 12k attacker during your turn. Then the Dibattless and the Dimariner have the exact same skill, which is from Soul. You can put it into the drop zone and then give your Vanguard an additional 3k power for that turn, which can help you to facilitate those thresholds for power. And then the grade 6k grade 1 Dilander has the unplaced Rearguard Circle skill, counter plus 1, to give 1 of your Dimensional Robo units 4k power, which can help you either empower your Vanguard or your Rearguard Circles to give them more power potential. And if you add the numbers up, then this grade 1 basically becomes a 10k booster, which is pretty interesting. And those are basically all the reveals that we got today for Vanguard Zero. There are, however, 2 more things that I need to discuss, because Japan also are going to get a new special event, which is basically a celebration of Aichi's birthday and at the same time a celebration of Vanguard Zero being out for more than half a year in Japan. And this is an event where they're going to give away a lot of stuff. Like, you can get 50 packs for free by doing almost nothing, and there is some kind of lottery refund where you can get all your gems back that you spent during this event itself by you spending it on, I think, on packs as well as on character fights and all that kinds of stuff. So it's basically a whole bunch of giveaways that they're doing to all the players, and I'm wondering if they're gonna do that in the English side as well, because it's mainly a celebration of the game being out for more than 6 months. So will we get the same once our international side also hits the 6 month anniversary? We have no clue. It's only time can tell. But also another interesting thing on the Japanese side is they revealed a little bit of information for the new Bang Dream character booster or title booster. And originally I thought we're gonna get another clan or another archetype revealed to us, so the third band. But the only reveal that they gave us was the new trailer for the set. But usually in the trailer there's also one interesting information that's new to us, and in this case it's all money cards, because they revealed this segment in the trailer that showcases that all the cards are gonna get SB versions as well as SSR versions. So yeah, anybody that's a collector, I hope you have a bank account saved up, because you're gonna break the bank once this set is dropped in Japan, and probably once it will drop in the English side as well. So yeah, start saving up, guys, because once this set drops in July, things are gonna go mad. But another thing with July, and this is the last big information today, is that on July the 21st, we're gonna get another product stream. And this is the same that we got every 6 months, where they're gonna reveal the upcoming schedule, all the new support wave, all the new mechanics, the products, and whatever. So on July the 21st, there are gonna be some major bombs dropped for the community. Last time that they did this was when Cry 3 was revealed, and when Chronojet and Asha and all those things were confirmed, the same with Next Stage and all those stuff. So yeah, I expect some big hard-hitting things to be dropped on July the 21st, and you can definitely expect me to cover that information right once it's freshly dropped from HQ Japan. But that's basically all the information that we got today. There was a lot to talk about because they dropped a lot of information for Vanguard Zero on both sides of the spectrum. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of all the new information that we got for the physical card game with the new cards for Silver Dust Blaze, as well as all the information for Vanguard Zero. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, then go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.